UFC 326. This is the weigh-in recap show, full card predictions, and the betting breakdown. I'm looking forward to talking about each of the matchups on this card after seeing the fighters on the scales. So make sure you guys smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Turn the post notifications on and make sure you share the video too. And also note, I'll be live for the entire card Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern time. Don't miss the fight companion. And also be sure to hype the video. That's YouTube's new thing. Real quick, fight canceled. Ji-Yoon Lee, he doesn't weigh in. Fight with Gaston Bolaños, off, not happening. Unfortunate, is what it is. Feel bad for Bolaños. 2 canceled fights leading up to it. Short notice replacement. Lee steps in, and then he can't even get on the scale, and Bolaños made weight. So, unfortunate. Hopefully, he gets paid. Let's get into what is of this 12-fight UFC card. Starting it off, we got Luke Fernandez versus Rodolfo Bellato. I think we see Luke Fernandez win. He's been my pick throughout the entire week. I feel like he's a good prospect. And we need some American prospects, especially at light heavyweight. My God, we need somebody to show some skill. I really feel like Luke Fernandez does everything pretty well. His striking is nice. He's got power in his hands, good left hook. He's a good grappler. Has done grappling matches against, like, ex-UFC fighters and such and won. I feel like he's a better athlete. Bellato's a slugger. He's a little bit heavy-handed in some sense. It's not like Bellato's this big knockout puncher, but he's got okay flurry and shots. He's a big body, right? You'll see when they face off. He's a big dude. But ultimately, I think that it should be, good as gold over here on the side of Luke Fernandez. I don't even think it's just like a win. I think it's probably a finish, but maybe a decision if Bellato is stubborn. The reason I'm thinking maybe is because I'm thinking back to this Navajo-Sterling fight. And I'm like, Navajo's a precise puncher, and, he was able to survive there. But to be fair, doesn't have the grappling. And then I'm like, but Luke Fernandez did go distance with Christian Edwards on a 4-round decision. Granted, it was a fight that was championship 4 rounds over there. So, could have been a little more of patience. He got a sick KO against a bum in Pergantino. It's really the possibility of finish has to be on the table, especially with Bellato's like brawling pressure style. I feel like he'll walk into some big shots. I wonder if Fernandez grapples though. Like, I'm sure he views Bellato as a guy he could outwork on the floor. And I think he's definitely better at wrestling. I think he's definitely better at jiu-jitsu. I simply put, just think he's the better fighter. I think Fernandez clears in this matchup. I ultimately don't view it as all that competitive. I think it's going to be, for the most part, one-way traffic, but Bellato could be like stubborn to stop, but it should definitely be Fernandez for the W. Now, I got a little early action face-off between the two of them, but really, first thing I wanted to do is show you the guys on the scales. We got Luke Fernandez weighing in, looking jacked, shredded, strong. This is a good American prospect. We need one for this weight class. We got Hockett at heavyweight, and obviously Gable Steveson on the rise. Fernandez is pretty solid, 30 years old, undefeated amateur, undefeated pro, well-rounded, versus a wild Brazilian slugger in Bellato. There's Bellato, who, generally looked okay on the scale, but Bellato just gives me like bouncer vibes, He's a big, strong dude that can swing some wild shots, but he's not actually like technically good. He's got okay leg kicks, I guess, and flurries, but he's very hittable. His ground game is probably overrated. His chin is good, but Petrino did separate him from consciousness twice badly, and I think, Fernandez is a more technical puncher than Petrino with the power too. So Luke Fernandez should be pretty live to show out in this matchup. Now, as far as the lines for this fight, I'll bring up the betting odds on the screen, and we can see Luke Fernandez minus 220. It's a debuting spot. He fought a shit can on Contender Series, but I'm still backing him to win with confidence. Bellato plus 185 on the opposite side is the dog. Not crazy about the over-under. I would rather just like believe in Fernandez and 2-leg parlay him, or like Fernandez inside distance, minus 165, minus 135. I swear though, it's going to be better on Hard Rock Bet. So if you're, on Hard Rock Bet, anywhere you're at, you could potentially run it there and actually get yourself like a decent little play. Let me see what Fernandez is on Hard Rock Bet. I have it on my phone right in front of me. All right, Hard Rock Bet lines for Luke Fernandez finish, dude, minus 130. So if you can find that, like minus 130, minus 135, that's really good. Minus 165, not as good, but still, like, likely that he goes out there and gets the stoppage. Option A is the KO, but again, I'm not thinking it's worth it. If you're seeing a minus 130 option, fuck that. Find inside distance at a different place and, go that route. And then Fernandez by sub at plus 950, though he has never won by submission as a pro MMA fighter, he did win against Phil Hawes by anaconda choke. So, in grappling, he did get that submission. And as an amateur, he also got an anaconda choke and an Americana. Maybe Bellato tries to wrestle a bit, gets caught in an anaconda choke here. You'd be on like the, big chase of the plus money side going for it. But plus 950, plus 1100, kind of wild to me. I feel like, come on. Plus 1100 is what I'm seeing on Hard Rock Bet. The better lines are there. So for props, that's kind of the place to go. They're not paying me for that sponsor, by the way. I just like them myself. Plus 1100, Fernandez sub, D-Gen call. But I think inside distance makes the most sense. He's live to get the finish. If he wins a decision, I will be underwhelmed. Could he win a decision? Yes, it's a fist fight. But I think he can find a way to stop Bellato's stubborn ass. Fernandez decision up at plus 450. Ultimately, if you're so torn on method of victory, you don't want to take a chance. You know what? Your two-leg parlay Fernandez, you should win. He's a minus 220 favorite. He should go out and handle business. And I will predict that he gets it done inside of the distance, leaning potential for big shots to land into maybe some ground and pound. But I wouldn't be shocked if he has to submit the big body in Bellato because Bellato's just like stubborn to go away. And instead, like a submission opens itself up. So that's why I'm kind of into that plus 1100 sub play. So Fernandez for the W, though. Confident call. He should beat Bellato for sure. Next matchup on the card, we got Rafael Tobias versus Dr. Nurgozhay. It's Tobias. I cannot pick Dr. Nurgozhay. He should be at 185. But, had trouble cutting weight in his UFC debut to 205. So he likes to eat, man. Tobias is this big, scary Brazilian power puncher. He fights with like the old school heavy Thai set and just rips bombs, but he also has a good ground game, good takedowns, good physicality. I think he's going to be able to out-wrestle Dr. Nurgozhay, take his back and sub him. I remember when Nurgozhay fought in Contender Series and dude had a hype. Like, it was the guy. Oh, my God. Who is this dude? I remember thinking, like, yo, Dr. Nurgozhay's dexterity is crazy. And, like, he's fast on the feet. Oh, and he's from Kazakhstan. Oh, he's got good defensive wrestling, they tell us. Brennison Ibero subs him. What the fuck? Okay. Uran Sadibaldiev, easy sub against him. His ground game is non-existent. I don't know what wrestling he did. What wrestling in Kazakhstan he did, I don't know. I think it's a rumor. I feel as though his ground game is a red flag. And Tobias is a big, strong Brazilian dude. Kind of looks like he's on steroids. Not saying he is, but he's like a big, strong, roided up looking Brazilian motherfucker with power in both hands, good grappling, and I think a live chance for a submission. So automatically my brain goes towards, we're going sub for Tobias as the pick. But with, two guys, they're not novice professionals, but as far as the UFC level goes, you got 0-2 versus 0-0. Possibility of a finish. I feel like the shit could get started pretty fast. I think that Nurgozhay could land something on the feet. Tobias' chin's a little wary. Tobias could definitely land a big shot too, but then get a takedown, find himself on top, and just strangle Nurgozhay. Under a round and a half feels pretty live here if you're on the gambling side of the fight, which we'll get to in a moment. But first things first, I want to bring up the fighters on the scales. There's Bolaño. Sorry, buddy. Rafael Tobias, the head tattoo, so he's not fucking around. Looking pretty jacked and strong. You can see the dude's got some size on him. Intense Brazilian. The ears are destroyed. Reminds me of Junior Dos Santos back in the day with those ears. Then there's Nurgozhay. Nurgozhay looks like your friend that does jujitsu 3 days a week. And you think to yourself, man, you're doing it 3 days a week? I might be able to defend your submission attempts, And it's like Nurgozhay doesn't have a very menacing look to him by any sense of the word. But this is fighting. It's not a fucking badass looks contest. It's who fights better. Then again, no, I think, there's an element of the intense look that pays off for Tobias. And you can't go and get a head tattoo and then expect this fighting shit not to work out. This is the only motherfucking option for Tobias, okay? With that tattoo, I don't know, man. You could maybe be a prison guard or might be in it, the prison, being guarded. Outside of that, it's fighting, bro. That's really it. You could maybe be a security guard bouncing. I don't know. Gang lord. I don't know. There's not much. He's got the tat. Bartender, maybe if you're lucky. A barber, I guess. Tattoo artist yourself. if you can work at a gas station or something like that, I would say this is all Tobias has. Not saying that, Nurgozhay from Kazakhstan can go be a school teacher, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was on the side. Is he a school teacher on the side? As my nose is running here and it's pissing me off. Jesus. My apologies. I think Tobias has to be the pick. Am I falling into the trap of intimidation factor? No, I genuinely think he's going to win. I'm talking a lot of game and bullshit and having some fun, but I have to favor a Brazilian with upside. But at minus 175, he's not proven. So, but want to throw down the heat at minus 175. I'm like, am I going to throw money at it to make some money? Or is it one you sit out on? Let's see sitting out. Plus 150 Nurgozhay. It has been bet down. It was plus 250. So a lot of people attacking the dog. And I don't think it's a crazy take to go Nurgozhay by first round knockout. I talked about it throughout the week and I mentioned it as a DGen prop. You could go Nurgozhay round 1 KO, thinking maybe he lands. The KO's plus 350. Round 1 KO for Nurgozhay, sitting at plus 11, plus 950. It's been bet down. Probably a little more, depending on where you're at. Around plus 1,000, plus 1,400 range. For Nurgozhay in the first round, or the second round, you could even consider doing as well. But I think Tobias subs him. Regardless, Tobias submission plus 165, inside distance, minus 135. Like, what are we talking about? I think this fight goes under. Under 2.5 rounds, minus 285. I don't see this shit being a decision. So if you want to just go like safer play and you want to throw in like a chalkier fat line like that, sure. But under 1.5 at minus 120 is pretty live for the matchup. It was at plus 105. It's been bet down a lot, but I take it as a good sign because I think the community is right on that one. And I think the fight finishes probably in round 1. And I'm going to say Tobias sub. But, Nurgozhay, where I'm going with it is like he could land something. He's not an awful striker. He does have pretty good kickboxing. But Tobias is a powerhouse and can grapple. So, yeah, Tobias, the pick. I'm going with bipolar. Next fight on the card, Sumudaerji versus Jesus Aguilar. Viva Mexico. Listen, we were just in Mexico, and the Mexican son got upset in the main event by a striker. This time, the Mexican grappler will win against the overrated Chinese kickboxer. I'm going Jesus Aguilar. I believe that the grappling onslaught is really live here. I've been picking him all week because of the X factor of the wrestling, him getting this fight to the ground, him finding himself in a scramble as Sumudaerji looks to get up and using those T-Rex arm to lock that gilly in, okay? Arm in gilly, Sumudaerji's not getting out. That long neck, look at that length on that neck. Look at the length on the neck. That's choke territory, okay? Jesus Aguilar by sub is very live. Could he win a back-and-forth decision? Sure, why not? I recognize Sumudaerji can fight. He's a nasty kickboxer from the outside, good side kicks, good body kicks, good jab crosses. Like, he's slick. He's slick. He's on his feet. But please, hold on. Hold on. He beat Borralho last time. Borralho is a good striker, but he's only a striker. And Sumudaerji can strike all day if you don't look to take him down. When you start to wrestle him, he's going to a competitive decision with Mitch Raposo. Getting subbed in the first round, Tim Elliott mauled him. Matt Schnell got the comeback sub on him, but granted, he did drop Schnell early. But Schnell's not even a good wrestler. Jesus Aguilar is going to bring the threat of grappling into this fight. Oh, but he has a 62.5-inch reach. The motherfucker has always had a 62.5-inch reach, and most guys that he fights have longer reaches than him. Actually, everybody. I couldn't find one. Find me somebody that Jesus fought that he doesn't have a reach disadvantage on. Beat Edgar Shirez on the regional scene, too, who's got long-ass arms. I think Jesus is going to close that gap, mix in some takedowns, probably land some overhand shots. I think he's live to get a competitive decision win. I'm going underdog. I cannot pick Sumudaerji, and I don't trust in the wrestling. The wrestling defense. I don't trust in the wrestling defense, but really I was going to say, I don't trust in just the striking to evade the wrestling. As I drop the fuck out of my new phone here. Okay. Big J on the new phone. If you guys know, you know. If you follow throughout the week, you know. W new phone. I think we got Jesus Aguilar coming out like a savage. Sub is live. Sub is live. Sub is live. It's alive, man. Sub is there. Sub is possible. All right, let's look at Jesus, man. Look at this Mexican savage, bro. Come on. Come on. He's got the lucky tooth, bro. Come on. Viva Mexico. I'm feeling the Nacho Libre theme song. There's on the other side, Sumudaerji, skinny, wiry build. Listen, that's a kickboxer's build. But against a short, little, strong grappler, I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm going Mexico in this one. And there's the face-off between the two. We knew about the height difference. We knew about the reach difference. It just is what it is. Sumudaerji got long arms for sure. And I'm going to say Jesus can find his way past it, especially with that threat of getting the fight to the mat. And I'm excited for this spot. This is intriguing for me. This is. I think it's a matchup that can go our way in a big way. I think Jesus can pull this one out. Plus 169 underdog, plus 185, depending where you're at. So, you know, Jesus, pretty good plus money. He was in the plus 200 range throughout the week. Like, he was at plus 210, right? He was up to even plus 230. So the odds have been higher, but they're still plus money. And obviously, he's given up a lot of reach, so you got to be comfortable and you have to have faith. Do you believe Jesus Aguilar can land takedowns? Because if it's just striking, he probably loses, unless he lands the perfect punch, because he does have some power in his overhand shots, but he's not, pure boxer. He's a looping puncher. And he hits hard, though, but he's short, and his reach is short. And if he's not bringing in a threat of wrestling, kind of hard to close the gap, but he's going to. Not really interested in over-unders. Let's see. Aguilar to win via submission. Okay? Upwards of plus 450. If you can get it in the plus 400 range, dude, do that shit. Again, I'm going to check Hard Rock Bet for some that I don't like what the line is looking like, where, you know, Fight Odds has it from like Bet Online and stuff. And if you find Aguilar, winning method, okay, we got submission win for Aguilar, plus 425 on Hard Rock Bet, plus 450, around that range. But if you're at plus 400 or more, I think it's pretty good. And I think Aguilar's live to go out and win by sub. Aguilar decision, 6-1 odds. He could win a back and forth wrestling heavy decision, though, to be fair. And then if it goes into the later stages, which I do predict we're going hard, I don't think Aguilar is getting chinned. Aguilar, I know it says minus 3.5, but I'm 99% sure it's the plus 3.5. It's just always messed up on Fight Odds. Around minus 150 for him to win a round, way less exciting. Fuck that. Just go plus money. Grab your fucking nuts and do it. I'm not telling you to bet. This is not me telling you to do it. I'm just telling you what I'm thinking. And if you agree with what I'm saying and you feel a little scared and you feel like you want to do it, well, grab the nuts and let's go to war, you know? It is what it is. So we're riding with the side of Aguilar as an underdog. And I think he's going to beat Sumudaerji here. I like this matchup. I'm hyped for this fight, actually. It's going to be good shit. This card is good. All right, let's keep running. All right. Cody Durden versus Niam Jargal, Tumendemberel. Give me Tumendemberel. I'm not going against my Mongolian savage, man. And sorry to Cody Durden. I've had Cody Durden on my live show before, and I picked against him in the fight right after. I pick against him here. I like Cody. He's a good guy, but I don't pick fighters based on liking them as people. I pick them on who's going to win. And Niam Jargal Tumendemberel has a real chance to beat past his expiration date, Cody Durden. That's the truth. Tumendemberel's debut was a little sloppy. Close fight with Carlos Hernandez. And, you know, it could have went either way. But ultimately, he did give up some takedowns and he lost. Year and 3 months ago. It was a debut. Follows that up. Quick win against short notice replacement Terrence Saturn. But I'm like, he's 27. He's getting better each and every time that he fights. I'm thinking the side of Cody Durden is showing me flaw after flaw after flaw after flaw. Look at the last one against Nascimento. He gets dropped. Nascimento's striking is bad, bro. Nascimento is not a good striker. And yes, Durden was winning the first round striking. Still walked into a punch from a guy that is really bad at striking. Okay? Like, he's low level in the hands, all right? Where's Cody Durden's chin? He took a ton of damage against Joshua Van. Oh, his chin held up there. Yeah, and it fucking died off after as Ochoa starched him. Nascimento clubbed and subbed him. Let's not forget Bruno Silva back in 2024 knocking him out. He's had good early moments, but things fall apart. I got Tumendemberel with the reach advantage, the younger guy, pretty good precise straight punches and some power with a submission threat. Art of knockout, but it's like club and sub. He's got power, but he's got submission threat. You look at the career art of knockout. If you don't know, he is art of knockout. He is art of club and sub, man. 6 submission wins. Give me club and sub. I think front headlock. I mean, you look at Cody Durden's wrestling style, too. He caught in something like an anaconda. I'm going to go Tumendemberel to submit him. And I think he could also hurt Durden on the feet. It's not crazy to say Tumendemberel knocks him out either. I think that Durden is going to walk into some heavy shit against a dangerous prospect with a wiry build and underrated punching power. I think people don't know that Tumendemberel can crack a little bit yet. And I think he's going to show it in this fight. And I think most likely, though, it's club and sub. Art of the knockout, art of the club and sub. Tumendemberel goes out and wins. I feel pretty high likely that happens here. Let's look at the fighters on the scales. Tumendemberel looks like a bad motherfucker, bro. The most Mongolian tattoo ever with the tiger and then the skull in the middle. Like, this is some real Genghis Khan type shit. Okay? He's a bad dude. Come on. Tumendemberel. There's Cody Durden on the other side. Looks like Cody Durden. Still in shape. Giving it a whirl. Showing up. He's probably getting cut from the UFC if he loses this one. And I think he's going to lose this one, my brother. I think he's going to take the loss, man. And then we'll pull up the face-off. Look at Tumendemberel with the native hat on, man. Oh, look at this savage. I don't know the name of it, but he looks like a badass. Looks like an ancient warrior. And past his expiration date, Durden, I'm sorry, bro. Sorry. Tumendemberel by finish. Not just a win, a finish win. Now, you can moneyline this shit. Minus 160. It's gotten wider. It was minus 110. It was minus 135. It was minus 170. It's moving all around. Now, minus 160, and it should be plus 140. Durden, bro, give me Tumendemberel to go out and win. And I like the sub, though. Sub, what is it? Plus 375 last time I looked. Plus 360, plus 375 in that range. If you're getting plus 300, you're getting ripped off. Just so you know. Like, if you're at a place where those are the prop lines, like, I think you got to find somewhere else, because maybe the money lines are fair there, but those prop lines are not good enough for me. Because I'm looking at it, Tumendemberel to win just by finish in this fight is not great. Plus 140. Tumendemberel to win by submission now, plus 350. Yeah, it should be like plus 350 or more. So if you're getting it around that range, good shit. I think Tumendemberel by sub is going to come together. And yeah. Should be sub. Could be inside distance if you want to like stay safe, but you could just money line it at that point. And then I got some DGen calls. You could chase like Tumendemberel second round submission if you want to be a wild man. Plus 14, plus 12, plus 13, depends where you're at. I'm seeing plus 2,000, and I think that's accurate. I've seen like plus 2,200. And that's fucking dirty, but it's around that, the same line for Tumendemberel. So you could go like light touch on second round sub, third round sub. Tumendemberel is like DGen lays if you're on top of, just the sub play as well. And then with the money line, depending on how many layers you want to bring it, depending on how much you believe in Tumendemberel. You have to ask yourself the simple question. Do you believe Tumendemberel is better than his UFC debut? Yes or no? Do you feel like he has some UFC staying power from what you've seen? Do you feel like he's dangerous, right? And then you have to ask yourself, is Cody Durden at a point where he fights off a hungry up-and-comer? You believe in Cody Durden to not get caught with something stupid? I don't. So I'm going Tumendemberel, and I think he's got the tools to go out and pull this one off here. I feel pretty good about it. All right, let's keep it running. Let's keep it running. Alberto, Montes, Ricky Turcios. Brah. Montes, what are we talking about, dude? Montes, by sub, most likely. Could it be a decision and you're irritated at the end? Yes, because Turcios is like stubborn to submit, and his ground game is pretty good defensively. It's just, you got to go Montes by sub, though, as the pick. But he could end up like winning the positions and like getting Turcios in a tight anaconda, and then Turcios somehow survives and it's like late in the round. And then Montes is positionally like winning, but like Turcios just surviving. But I do think Montez's front headlock game is going to give Turcios some problems. If Turcios trying to strike, he doesn't have a lot of punch power. Decent kicks, though, and decent volume, but like there's nothing he does that's threatening of a knockout, which I don't like here. I think Montes can kind of just walk him down and look to throw him to the floor or beat him up with big punches over the top and, heavy kicks. Montes can kind of do whatever the fuck he wants here. He's not at risk really of getting knocked out. I don't think Turcios can win by knockout. I think Turcios' only path is a decision. I don't see him finishing Montes. Unless Montes has no gas tank and we find out he's, made of glass on the cardio side and he's missing a lung or something like that. Montes should dominate him. Montes should be able to take him down. Montes should be able to beat him in striking. Montes should threaten with the front headlock for sure. I'm going to say Montes by submission, and you'll see in a second as we get to the scales, right? You're going to see a big difference. Turcios is a bantamweight. He made 136 or 135 just in January for the 324 card, but Smotherman fainted and pulled out. And then he took this fight moving up to 145, but it's not like he became a featherweight. He just took this fight at 145. And then we got Montes coming in shape, shredded. Like, this is a guy that needs to be lean and fucking cut down to make the weight class limit, whereas Turcios can make 135 pounds, It's honestly very like Ilya Topuria vibe. It's like Ilya Topuria if he also like was a skateboarder. That's the vibe I get with Montes, man. And on the Turcios side, he reminds you of the friend that like went to the gym for a year at 16 and like never really made any gains, but like is very science-based approach. Like, yo, man, this is how you gotta lift. I'm telling you, it's like, man, do you work out though? You go to the gym 4 days a week, but I don't really see the progress. Like, unfortunately, that's the vibe I get from Turcios in this fight. Totally obscure from the fight, but in some sense, it plays in because when you have two grapplers, you want to pick the grappler that has high-level technique and also physical strength. I would say Montes is technically better at submission threats than Turcios for sure. And on top of that, he's going to be way fucking stronger. So he should win by submission. So I'm going sub win. Montes should handle business here against Turcios. Minus 180, bro. Minus 180 might end up being a gift. This might end up being a gift. You got minus 180 Montes, minus 160 Tumendemberel. After Mexico City, these look like plus 300s to me after dealing with the minus 500 bullshit lines on that card. This is great. I love this. So Montes all day. I think he wins by submission. You could go like decision if you think maybe Turcios' defense holds up, but just fucking, you got the money line. What do you got to chase anything else then? You want to just money line it, that's fine. You want to find the plus, Montes by sub around plus 200, plus 275, ranging in that region. Obviously, you want to find it closer to plus 275. Decision plus 230-ish. He's going to be hunting for the submission. Montes' style is strangle. I mean, you look at his fighting career, dude. The guy is a finisher, right? He's got 6 wins by submission. So, 3 decisions, though, still. But he is a guy that finishes fights. Turcios, though, only been submitted 1 time, and it was against Raul Rosas Jr. So, something worth mentioning there. But ultimately, Montes should win. I'll pick him by sub. But, like, decision is not, like, out of this world crazy take if he didn't sub Turcios and just outworked him for 3 rounds. Yeah, Montes the call. Next up, Donte Johnson, Cody Brundage. Squash match. Brundage is just here for a check. Donte Johnson should knock him out in the first round. For sure. If he doesn't win this fight within the first, I'll say 2 rounds. I'll give him even an extra round. I would be like kind of disappointed. Donte Johnson, he's an explosive power pressure striker with dangerous overhand shots and underrated kicking game, underrated wrestling game, built like a fucking cinder block. And Cody Brundage literally got knocked out a month ago. Yeah, he made it to the second round, but Cam Rouston is technical, he's picking his shots. He's taking his time. Johnson is looking to throw fire, It's a fucking crash of bombs from the Johnson side. I think that Donte Johnson is able to hurt Cody Brundage. I think he's able to finish Cody Brundage. I feel like Donte Johnson should knock him out and bust him up. The sub is there, as like a DGen call if you're on the prop betting side of it. But I don't know, man. Knockout makes the most sense. Just straight like prediction. I think Donte Johnson knocks out Cody Brundage and puts him on an unfortunate 3-fight losing streak and sends him out of the UFC. Yeah, this is, the UFC throwing Donte a bone in this one. There's Brundage. He looked okay on the scale. I mean, he just fought a month ago, made 185. No problem. Comes in, or 186. What do you weigh in at? 85.5, whatever. Made weight, He's there to fight. He'll give it his best. But I do think after getting knocked out like that and then just taking a fight quick, like you're there just for a paycheck. I didn't see Mark Montoya or Dustin Jacoby with him at the weigh-ins. We'll see if they're at the fight. But if they're not there, even more so, I have to assume he's just taking the fight for the check. Then there's Donte Johnson. Dude's fucking wide, man. Donte Johnson time. Come on. It's not competitive. Brundage really shouldn't have much of a chance here. Like, at all. There's really not much. There's the face-off between the two. As MMA Junkie thankfully saved the day because the UFC decided to do this like awkward inside angle of the fighters facing off. I don't understand. They switched camera angles and it was like this weird close-up looking like I'm recording off an old Android. I don't know. It was like to attempt to feel more intimate, but it failed for the most part aside from the main event. So yeah, UFC, I boycott that for the future. Like show an alternate angle on the screen. Don't eliminate the angle that we love, the OG angle, which we're looking at right here. So thankfully MMA Junkie was there, for God's sake. There's the face-off, though. Brundage taking it for a check, and, we should see Johnson finish him. I don't think Brundage is going to give us much, man. 9-1 odds for Johnson, Brundage plus 600. If you want to bet Cody Brundage, you could bet him by DQ. If he gets hit, let me tell you, I promise you, if he gets hit in the back of the head or some shit one time, he's out of this fight. He will find a way out. So if Johnson fumbles and makes some type of mistake, Cody Brundage as a DQ winning underdog is not a wild outcome at plus 600. So that's just something. All right, let's see. Inside distance Johnson's minus 350. Shit. KO minus 180. Shit. Is it better on fucking Hard Rock Bet? I don't even think you're gonna find it good there. No, nowhere it's gonna be good. Minus 750 on the money line there. Johnson KO minus 220, a little more bettable, I guess. Is it? What is that? No, it's worse. What the fuck? Hard Rock Bet. What are you doing to me, man? Johnson finish minus 375, even worse. Wow, wow, they disappointed me on that one. Hyping them up all show, and now they disappoint me with this big one. Plus 550 sub, you're chasing. Johnson round one, plus 115. Like, come on. What are we really doing here, bro? It's Johnson round one. It's round one. It's gotta be. Like, if he doesn't win in round one, I'm kind of surprised. Right? Like it seems like round one. Yeah. Donte Johnson, first round. Plus 115. I think he finishes the fight in the first round, probably by KO. You could go KO at like plus 145 for the first round. Under 1.5 is minus 175. Womp, womp, womp. Not great. I think Donte Johnson gets him out of there in a round, though. Like 1 or 2 rounds, maybe. Like if you want to be on the more conservative side of things, which, you know, a lot of the times is not as fun. Minus 225. But at that point, you just go fucking inside distance, you know? So I'll say Donte Johnson, KO, inside distance live, sub DGen call in round one, though. I like Donte Johnson round one knockout. He should win in the first round against a guy in Cody Brundage who just got knocked out. To be honest with you, this is a wild take, but like he could be live for under half a round. Like this fight could be quick. I don't know. Donte Johnson just comes out guns blazing. Brundage kind of just lays down for him. Doesn't really want to be there. Doesn't mentally show up. Johnson in under half a round. Dog, you're only giving me plus 250. Tell me to go fuck myself. Why don't you? Jesus. All right. So, yeah, we got Donte Johnson all day, though. Easy pick and should be a first round finish. Next fight on the card. Feature prelim. Cody Garbrandt versus Xiao Long. Give me Cody, no love for the upset. I don't buy that Cody is so washed he can't beat a mediocre fighter from China that is 1-2 in the UFC and had close fights on the damn road to UFC. What are you talking about? Cody just went to a competitive-ish fight against Barcelos. He won the first round. Got him with some good shots on the feet, defended some takedowns, hit him with some knees in close range. At the end of the fight, was trying to bait Barcelos into a slugfest, and Barcelos running from him. Like, Cody can definitely still strike at a high level, and his grappling defense is really not bad. It's just, you know, Barcelos high-level grappling, Figueiredo high-level jiu-jitsu. He got subbed by him. Like, it is what it is. But on the feet in both of those fights, he looked good. And then you look at Xiao Long. He does have a good amount of wins by submission, but, dude, you look at the Chinese regional scene. You got to understand, bro. If you don't know about this, I will inform you now. Dude, before fighting, okay, on the Contender Series years ago, he got the shot in 2021 and he lost to Quinones. Dude fought a 0-0 guy and won by third round knockout. Do you understand? Like, this is the shit that takes place on the regional scene there. Like, they fight all the time and it's random opposite. 1-4. He was 15-7 fighting a guy who's 1-4. Okay, that really shouldn't happen. 17-7 fighting a guy 10-9. You know what I'm saying? And then, like, yeah, he got some wins against decent records on Contender, or rather on Road to UFC. And then UFC, he loses to Chang Ho Lee. To be honest, he could have got that decision competitive, but Chang Ho Lee's a grappler. And I don't think he's that good. I picked Kwamba against him, and I was right. Kwang Lee, yeah, I did pick Kwang Lee, and I got knocked out in that one. Long Xiao put him away, but I'm still not sold. And then Su Young Yu pulls off a decision, but Long Xiao was a dog in that fight. I'll say this. Long Xiao tenacity here, right? Will to win here. Technical skill, right here. He's mid. He's not very good. It's just he's like really tough. He has a lot of confidence. He moves forward with aggression. He has good elbows. I'll give him credit on that. He swings wild shots. He can wrestle a little bit. He's in your face the whole time, but he's like not sharp at all. And like, it's like, what the fuck? Cody Garbrandt, the former champ that did what to Dominic Cruz, loses to a 1-2 in the UFC, Xiao Long. This should not happen. But I don't know how far from grace Cody Garbrandt has fallen. You know what I'm saying? The face tattoo is a red flag. But I'm still picking him. I'm still picking him, goddammit. Still picking him. I don't care. On Cody Garbrandt decision. I think he's going to look slicker on the feet and he'll win 2 out of the 3 rounds. But I'm telling you, round 3, you might shit yourself because Cody might get dropped with an elbow or some shit and he has to survive an onslaught. And then he does, and he gets like a 29-28 decision at best, maybe even a split. Like, if he gets a knockout, that's great. I'll be happy. But like I'm preparing myself for a very close decision for Cody Garbrandt because Xiao Long does not give up on himself at all, which like you have to respect that. But Garbrandt's way faster with his hands, way more precise with boxing, and way better footwork. There's Cody Garbrandt. Looks pretty good on the scale. Face tattoo and all. Love the face tattoo. But, you know, Garbrandt, he already tatted all the way up the neck. Might as well add it. And then Xiao Long looking pretty jacked on the other side. This crazy dude's chasing the goal of taking out a former champ. My God. And like, it's not a far-fetched reality, which is why I'm like getting annoyed talking about this damn fight. But I'm really pulling for Cody No Love. There's the face-off. Dude, come on, Cody No Love. You should be able to deal with Long Xiao's wild punches, and he should be able to stop the takedown. So I'm going Cody. I believe. Do you believe? I believe. I believe. Plus 140, Cody No Love. I'm going underdog, Garbrandt. Fuck it. Long Xiao minus 160. Yeah, I'll favor the side of Cody No Love. I think he's got one more in him. Garbrandt to win decision around plus 300 live. If he won by KO, it's a big deal at like plus 350. But I don't know, man. Long Xiao seems to take a good shot. So I'll say they go distance. I think Cody recognizes that. I think Cody fights smart. Might even be a Garbrandt split decision at like plus 1,400, but that's degen as fuck. You can moneyline Cody No Love if you got faith that he's going to be able to outstrike Long Xiao and stop some takedowns at plus 140. Might lose a round, but I think can still go out and win a fight. I'm going the Garbrandt side. Let's see what the spread looks like here as I just fucking blew past it. Holy shit. Minus 185. It says minus 3.5, but it's the plus 3.5. That's trash. So yeah, the spread not worth it. Underdog, Cody Garbrandt for a competitive win. I'll say decision. I think he's going to get 2 out of the 3 rounds, but he might get dropped in the 3rd or some crazy shit. But I'll say Garbrandt can give us one more. He did say too that like he's fully in on this. He's 2 feet in with fighting still, and he's not like looking at doing other things. So like I guess that should be confidence building for us. And I'll say Garbrandt can do it. We're going with Garbrandt. Let's keep running. Let's get to our main card opener. Make sure you guys subscribe. If you're new to the channel, make sure you also smash the like button and be sure to hype the weigh-in show. All right, we got Gregory Rodrigues versus Bruno Ferreira. I'm going RoboCop. I think he's going to get his get back here. He overlooked Ferreira massively in their first fight, and he was violently chinned. Ferreira at that time would square up a lot more and kind of just start swinging wild shit. I mean, dog, Jordan Williams knocked him out on Contender Series, man. You know, like it was a bad time. And like, we weren't that far removed from that version of RoboCop. I think he's a lot better. You know, even though he got knocked out by Cannonier, that was more of the gas tank issue. And he still had big moments early. He's got tons of punching power. But like, I think what RoboCop needs to do is focus on fighting smart here. Kind of more of the approach he had with Kopylov. Not hunt for the KO, but if it happens, it happens. And I think he can like outbox Bruno Ferreira in a fairly competitive striking fight. And I think Ferreira, his gas tank could wilt. We've seen it before. But I will say, we're going to look at the scales in a second. What the fuck did they feed in Bruno Ferreira? We'll look in a moment. Bruno Ferreira's got power in his hands. He's got some wild punches. Spinning elbow against Stoltzfus was crazy, and he's got pretty good jiu-jitsu, but I don't think the armbar is going to work here. I don't think the submission threat works here. I think it's a striking fight, and I think RoboCop is going to be a little more patient with his pressure, and I think he could find some key punches on Ferreira, but what he has to worry about is Ferreira with his speed darting into range with a big bomb, and that's why I think RoboCop cannot overextend his combinations, and he should stay a lot more poised here this time as opposed to what he did in their last fight. Now, we'll look at the scales, and I got some shit to say. What the fuck are they feeding this guy? Bruno Ferreira looked like shit against Vettori. Looked fat, bro. Now he's shredded, jacked, weird-ass looking fucking clavicle here, whatever. What the hell? The hell is that? Was an injury or something like that. It's been like that before, but my God, Bruno Ferreira, bro, the peptides. The UFC has legalized peptides. Bruno Ferreira's on the stack, bro. And I think he's also taking some of that melanotan too, bro. He's got the crispy tan. Like, this is a different Bruno Ferreira. This is Chad Bruno Ferreira look maxing as fuck, running the stack from, you know, Clav and those guys. I don't know, man. He looks enhanced, bro. And it's definitely, at the very least, he's on the peptides, bro. Holy shit. This is not the Bruno Ferreira that we remember from last time, okay? This is not from his whole career. He's never looked this lean before and this tan. Dude looks menacing and showing up. for the rematch against RoboCop. RoboCop, I will say he looked grandfather-like and a little soft at the weigh-ins, and like his face, just something looked like less intense about it. Like he just looked like this gentle soul, like a fucking teddy bear, which really pissed me off when I saw it. I'm like, is he off the fucking sauce and Ferreira's on it now? Like, what is happening? There's the face-off between the two. Dude, Ferreira has sick Chad energy this week. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm scared, bro. I'm genuinely nervous. Like, look at Ferreira looking into his eyes. It's like, I think RoboCop's low-key intimidated. I'm getting in my head with this prediction. Because I really was like, all right, RoboCop stays calm and he wins. But, like, if he goes crazy, Ferreira is so live to counter him. I just worry about the fucking mind of RoboCop starting to panic and then him just trying to swing wild shots and rely on his power and getting knocked out again. It's like one of those fights where after the fact, if Ferreira knocks him out, I'll be kicking myself. Like, I should have known. I should have known. But, if RoboCop really shows up, though, he's been looking good. So I'm going to stick with RoboCop. But, like, I will say my confidence has diminished post-weigh-in. And, like, seeing Ferreira in shape like this is fucking intimidating, bro. Like, this is probably my most fearful pick now on the card. And the line movement has been fucking crazy, dude. RoboCop opened up -150, but it was big favorite status. -230, -190, -200. Now, -157, dude. So money is coming in. This fight could be close to even odds. Now, that worries me because I said RoboCop looks less muscular. Is there inside information that RoboCop may be injured? You know, there's things that I'm really worrying about here with RoboCop now. So, I don't know, man. I'm in my head a little bit about this one, depending on where RoboCop is at. Knockout win for Ferreira sits at +275 on the opposite side. RoboCop by decision around +425. My initial call that I liked was RoboCop to win and over 1.5 rounds at like +200. And I still think that is live, but I just worry about the gamesmanship of Ferreira and like drawing RoboCop into a brawl. So I don't know, man. The confidence, if you told me I was doing confident picks after seeing weigh-ins, not before, I wouldn't be including RoboCop. I would be replacing him with somebody else. So like the post weigh-in most confident lineup, like technically will shift after weigh-ins, which we'll talk about. So if you are on RoboCop, you hold your fucking nuts and hope for the best, clench the pearls, and it is what it is. If you're on Ferreira, good luck. He looks sensational. Depends what version of RoboCop shows up mentally. Obviously, we know Ferreira is coming to kill him. And I just, I get a little worried with RoboCop's mentality. That's all. A little worried. Little worried, man. He doesn't look as jacked. Doesn't look as intimidating. It looks like Bruno Ferreira stole his stack, you know? Like, if RoboCop is not on the sauce and Bruno Ferreira now is, it's a lock for Ferreira. Like, dude, RoboCop is giving me natty as fuck vibes, dude. Like, he doesn't look as jacked as before. His neck looks skinnier. His face looks smaller. I want to see RoboCop as we get into the fucking cage. So watch out for my live take on this fight. If you're considering a bet, I understand the underdog side of Ferreira for sure. I would be very cautious. I don't feel the same about RoboCop money line for sure, but you could still try to go the over 1.5 with, RoboCop to win, but maybe hedge with that Ferreira like first round KO or something like that, because there is some fear. There's some fear, bro. Like, genuinely, I don't know. I'm feeling like this is the RoboCop in this picture and the RoboCop that was at the weigh-ins. They are not seeming like the same person. And I don't like that. So, yeah, I don't want to pick flip because then I'm going to be kicking myself if Ferreira shows up and gas is still and RoboCop looks good. So, like, I'll stick with my call. I didn't hear a fucking thunder outside or didn't see a lightning strike telling me to flip it. So I'll stick with RoboCop for now. Now, that's what happened with the Regina Turin fight. I was thinking about flipping it. That went off, and I knew. So I didn't get a universal sign. I will stay with RoboCop, but with apprehension. Next fight, Drew Dober versus Michael Johnson. My pick here is going to be Drew Dober on a comeback KO. Michael Johnson is fast with his hands. He's slick with his boxing. Both southpaws, which I like here. Michael Johnson should probably win the first round and outstrike Drew Dober and probably bust up his face a little bit in round one. But as this fight gets going, Drew Dober is going to find some big shots. As Michael Johnson slows down, this fight's going to even out, and Drew Dober's going to club him with some power punches. I think that Michael Johnson chin is live to get exposed here. I don't trust in Johnson winning by knockout. So Johnson going to have to pitch a shutout, and go out and win a decision. I think Dober can overcome early adversity, losing, but just not giving up on himself. Dog tough pressure, walking through Michael Johnson's straight shots, dealing with some early fire, and then getting some fire going of his own as Johnson tries to pull out from exchanges and he's towards the cage and starts slugging shots and, forcing Michael Johnson backwards, and he's not going to want to just sit there and slug. I think that Drew Dober's not going to play Michael Johnson's game. You look at the Zellhuber fight. Johnson in a technical kickboxing fight, able to outstrike Zellhuber. Drew Dober is looking to make this a war with consistent pressure, and he also has some heavy leg kicks too. So I think Drew Dober is going to be able to catch Johnson with some big punches. And also, I'll say this, man, that Johnson performance against Zellhuber does not look nearly as good after Bobby Green just knocked him out in round 2. So, a little bit of hype diminishment on the side of Michael Johnson's Zellhuber win as well. So I'm going Drew Dober. I'm going Drew Dober by second or third round knockout. I think he walks through the fire and avoids getting burned and ends up putting down Michael Johnson. The resume of Drew Dober and the reputation stays with him doing well against slick, quick-handed fighters, man. There's Drew Dober looking shredded up on the scale. Jacked, shredded. Ready to rock. I think Dober looks amazing on the scale, bro. He looks ready to kill. Michael Johnson on the other side looks all right. Looks ready to go. Looks ready to slug. Grizzly looking beard, to be honest, making me feel like I gotta clean mine up a little bit. Jesus, we look like that? Do I look like Michael Johnson with my beard? I look like that? Shit, man. There's a face-off between the two of them. It was on MMA Junkie because, the UFC was doing that weird angle shit. Face-off to dogfight. Johnson wins the first round, looks good early, and then Drew Dober knocks him out. Simple as that. That's what's going to happen. So I'm going Drew Dober by knockout, walking through some fire and handling business. Plus 105, I'm going the underdog Dober. Johnson minus 125. Listen, bro, it's a Drew Dober win against Michael Johnson. I feel like it's got to be a knockout. That's my mentality here. So Dober to win by KO plus 180. Michael Johnson is slick. Michael Johnson wins the first round. Drew Dober consistently brings pressure and starts to set traps, and Michael Johnson is put out in the second or third. Makes perfect sense. Plus 180 for the knockout. What's Dober's second round KO? Plus 700. Third round, plus 11. Second or third round is very live, but the KO is right in your face there. And, the underdog money line is also right in your face. I'm going Drew Dober with the relentless forward pressure to absorb some damage and deliver some more significant damage and get a KO. Dober for the win. And I think this win is like being too shitted on, bro. Kyle Prepolek's awkward as fuck and underrated. And Manuel Torres is a killer. John Silva is a killer. And to be honest, he didn't even get knocked out by him. He got the doctor stoppage. Moicano, he rocked, but obviously Moicano wrestled him and then, destroyed Rick Glenn. And then the 3 wins, Darius Flowers, Ottoman Zaitar. Come on, bro. What are we talking about? And Daniel Zellhuber. None of these guys are at this level. I'll be honest, bro. I'd pick Prepolek over all 3 of these guys too. So, yeah. I think Drew Dober, KO. Next fight, featured bout of the night. Rob Font versus Raul Rosas Jr. I think Raul is due for his win to break him into the top. I believe in Raul Rosas' grappling game a lot. And Rob Font at 38 years of age and a 41% takedown defense rate, I don't trust it. I don't trust it at all. I think Raul Rosas Jr. is going to be able to walk through some of Font's straight shots because of a slight improvement in his boxing you're going to see since his layoff. He's been out for 11 months, okay? And he's been doing a shitload of boxing work there. Now, I don't think that boxing work is to turn him into a knockout artist. I think it's so he's okay on the feet, so then he can be more patient into setting up takedowns and doesn't get set into a panic after being hit. I think that Raul Rosas is going to get Rob Font down, and I think he's probably going to get Rob Font down consistently here. And even if Font's good get-up game does come through in this spot, I think Rosas can get him down multiple times around. But I also will push this. Rosas's top pressure is very heavy, and he's a very physical 135 pounder. To be honest, like he's gonna eventually be a featherweight. He's 21, so he can do these weight cuts. But like eventually, Rosas is gonna be fighting at 145, and his strong pressure onslaught of grappling, I think, is gonna handle Rob Font. I think he's gonna be able to put Rob Font on his back and control him for a lot of this fight. Rosas could even threaten with the sub. The last time Rob Font was submitted, okay, was a long ass time ago. Only one loss by submission. He got gillied by Pedro Munoz 10 years ago, essentially in 2017. So, 9.5 years ago. I'm going Rosas by decision, positional dominance and control, using his physicality and surviving the Rob Font boxing. I know a lot of people are high on the Rob Font hands here. He's towards the twilight of his career. He's 38. He's coming off the tough loss to David Martinez. Before that, he honestly was my underdog lock. So, like, I was high as hell that he got Gene Matsumoto W. But to be fair, like, let's call the fight as it was. If he doesn't do the fake glove touch into the punch, he probably lose that decision. He got taken down like 6 times against Matsumoto, who's a jiu-jitsu Muay Thai fighter, not a smothering savage grappler. Phillips took him down like 4 times, and he's a kickboxer. So, I think Rosas should flatten him out and control him, kind of like what Figgy did to him in the 3rd round. And I don't think Rob Font is also in the same physical shape that he was, more in his youth. There's him on the scale. Like, he looks okay. This is him at the officials, but this is like, a 38-year-old Font. He doesn't have the same build that he used to. He's a little more ripped in his prime. This was him also at the ceremonials. Like, he looked a little bit on the skinny fat side. Like, there wasn't any ab definition or anything like that. So, I don't know, man. Not peak shape Font, past his prime Font. I really have to favor the young and hungry Raul Rosas to be able to beat him. There's the face-off between the two of them, Rosas and him. Not like it's a crazy size disparity or anything. Rosas is like a little bit thicker with the traps and a little more of like a grappler's build, and also, younger guy. And I think he's going to be the physically stronger of the two. Rosas has very underrated strength, and I think people judge him harshly because of his loss 3 years ago to C-Rod, but like they forget he was doing well early in the fight. And C-Rod is a solid grappler up at 145, and even like was able to win the 3rd round against Melky Costa, who's fucking amazing. So I think Rosas being maybe a little underrated in this one if you're going dog hunting on the other side. I do want to also pull up just Rosas's weigh-in. Looks solid on the scale. Good to go. 21 years old, really growing into this, pro fighting build, and got to the UFC mad young. He's a kid getting to the UFC now. 21-year-old man. I think this is the best version of Rosas that we've seen, and I think he goes out and shows out. Rosas's line has spread. It was minus 225, dude. Now it's minus 270. Holy shit. Rob Font plus 230 as the underdog. Big underdog for Rob Font. I think Rosas is going to be grappling him up. My official method of victory prediction is I think Rosas on the scorecards. I feel a dominant decision around plus 120. I like it. I think it's good. I think Rosas wins by a decision. I think that makes a lot of sense. Rosas on the cards. Yeah, I like Rosas on the cards. I think he lands some takedowns. Let's see. What are the takedown stats? Let's see. What options do I got here for takedowns? Let's see. Most takedowns, obviously, minus 1,600. Do we have like over a certain number of takedowns? Over 3.5? Dude, I think yes on that. If it goes distance, I think it's really live. I think he's live to land 3 takedowns a round even. So the pick is going to be Raul Rosas to out-grapple Rob Font and break into the top 15 here. I'm feeling the Rosas side, and he should handle a 38-year-old version of Rob Font. Co-main event time. Caio Borralho versus Reinier de Ridder. I've been picking Caio Borralho to go out and win. I think that we're going to see slicker striking and good defensive grappling. I don't see de Ridder just like dragging Borralho to the ground and controlling him. And that's what he kind of has to do. I don't think his knees to the body and clinch work are going to win him a fight against a technically sound guy. Borralho has kind of that like karate-esque striking base to his style, good bounce to him, good straight shots, picks his punches pretty nicely. And I feel like Reinier de Ridder's boxing is pretty bad. His really best weapon on the feet is going to be his knee to the body and I guess some teeps. But I think Borralho could catch him with straight shots if he's trying to throw kicks from the outside. I think Borralho has a good ability to like close the gap here. And I think Borralho's striking is definitely going to come in handy. And then, de Ridder quitting in his last fight is not a great look. And he even spoke about it. He said, last fight, I had low red blood cell count and this, that, and the other. Dude, it was 4 months ago. It was like the camp started within, 2 months of that. So did that low red blood cell count just like magically improve? Like, did everything just come together? You were talking about having a hard time walking upstairs. And now in like less than 4 months time since he said that, he takes a high caliber contenders fight against Kyle Bahayo, who, yeah, he lost to Nazarene Imavov, but he went 5 hard rounds against the best striker in the division. And to be fair, he was also off a year before that fight. Now you got Bahayo 6 months out, back on it again. I think he's going to make adequate adjustments to show improvements. I think he's out striking the Ritter. I think he could potentially hurt the Ritter on the feet. And like, I'm not even surprised if Bahayo ends up on top of the Ritter at some point and is winning some of the grappling exchanges between the two. So I think Bahayo goes out and wins. It's like a fun, how does he win? I think things get intriguing. But let's first look at the scales. There is Bahayo looking jacked up and in shape, ready to rock and roll here. Ready to go. And the Ritter looks fucking ripped as hell. Doesn't look like low red blood cell count. There was a conspiracy in my chat that was started that the Ritter cycled off of the you-know-whats before his last fight, and that's why he had all those issues with the low red blood cells and stuff, and now he's back on, supposedly. Not saying that's true, but he did fight in one championship, and everybody there is on steroids, so, it's just something. But at the end of the day, let's say he got on the peptides for this one, and maybe he's going to be a little more fit, but I just don't trust the Ritter after quitting in the last fight. It's just way too much of a red flag for me. There's the face-off between the two of them. I think the Ritter's getting outstruck. I think Bahayo's stand-up is going to show out. Bahayo also a southpaw, fast hands on him. I'd say underrated boxing chops. Bahayo should go out and clear here. He's a minus 225 favorite, and I agree completely with the odds. The Ritter plus 190, haha. Bahayo and him at the weigh-ins got a little testy, though. The Ritter, like, they shook the hand, and the Ritter just pulled away. I don't know, man. The Ritter seemed a little cunty at the weigh-ins and showing signs of emotion. And I don't know. I think he was emotional last time against Allen. That's why he quit on the stool. So can you imagine the Ritter quits after round 2 in this one? He's losing. He's on his back getting beat up by Bahayo and just gives up. I wouldn't be shocked. So, like, Bahayo by knockout is not the craziest take of all time. And it could even be like, I hate to say it, but it could be another quitting from the Ritter. Looking at Bahayo to win via KO. Let me see. I want to look at some other odds. Yeah, plus 300 is pretty standard for that. I do favor decision. My official pick is Bahayo decision, but KO or decision makes a lot of sense. Like, it's not an out of the realm possibility that Bahayo ends up stopping him. So, something worth mentioning at the least. Bahayo KO decision minus 180. You're not getting much. You're better off this minus 225 parlay in it or even attacking the money line with high confidence. I think Bahayo goes out and wins. I think he's out striking the Ritter, but I do think knockout is on the table for him. I'm not going to be sitting here absolutely shell-shocked if Kyle Bahayo is able to stop Renier the Ritter with shots. And I feel like in this spot here, Bahayo should put the Ritter, I don't want to put him away, put him in uncomfortable spots and hurt him on the feet, but like maybe not knock him senseless. Is that the right way to put it? I think that's the way to put it. Bahayo's still like a pretty interesting player too at this middleweight class. A lot of good matchups for him. I'd be very intrigued to see Bahayo versus Brendan Allen. I'd be down to see Bahayo versus Dricus du Plessis. I know we all dreamed about du Plessis and the Ritter, but it's seeming like a far-fetched reality, especially that I'm like picking against him here. And I know a lot of people love the underdog in the Ritter, and I wish you luck if you go on the dog side in this one, but I just think he's getting outworked by Bahayo. He's going to lose in a lot of the striking exchanges, and he doesn't really have that big grappling advantage. Bahayo's a better grappler than Brendan Allen. Even though it wasn't a great grappling match, he did beat him in a grappling match at Karate Combat, so at least something worth mentioning. So the Bahayo side feels like the A side. Big favorite, yeah, minus 225, but the line has come down a bit because some love on the Ritter side has come in. So I'll go Bahayo to get it done. Main event time. Make sure you guys smash the like, subscribe, and hype the damn video. Max Holloway versus Charles Oliveira 2 for the BMF title. I'm going with Max Holloway, and I'm predicting a Max Holloway KO. There are too many technical flaws with the Charlie O striking game to not be exploited. And everybody telling me Charlie O is talking about he's just gonna grapple fuck Max Holloway. Where's the evidence? He hasn't fought a grappler to that degree. Yeah, it sounds like everything we all were saying with Hernandez and Strickland, and we were way wrong. The defensive grappling of Max Holloway is incredibly good. He got up quick against Ilia Topuria against the cage when taken down, whereas like Charlie O was on his back for a little while against Topuria. So I'm just saying, granted, different positions and all. But I'm just saying, like, Max Holloway's defensive grappling is not going to be his flaw in this fight. I think the biggest flaw in this fight is Charles Oliveira refuses to use a jab to set things up. He has a tell where he'll like enter range, closing the gap with the head on the center line, slightly dipping the hands, and then just loading up on his power hook. And Max Holloway is going to find the shots, the beautiful straights down the line on Charles Oliveira a lot in this fight. His footwork is going to be too good. I will even push that Oliveira will have a hard time even shooting takedowns on Max Holloway. The strike speed differential is going to be obvious early in this fight. Max Holloway should land some clean punches on Charles Oliveira and really start mixing up nice combinations on the feet. And I think Charles Oliveira's chin is a little testy at this point. Just 7 months ago, Ilia Topuria violently knocked him out after that tell as he got caught with the hook as he looked to enter range with his own power shot. And I think Max Holloway's reflexes are going to be a lot sharper than Charles Oliveira's, and he's going to find the shots. I feel like, this is not the Max Holloway pepper and puncher at 145. This is a Max Holloway at 155 that sits on his punches and has some serious combination speed and has elite level footwork. I thought he looked great against Dustin Poirier. Drop Dustin Poirier in the first round. Like, come on, that's a big deal to me. And Charlie O, his punch resistance is not necessarily his best attribute. There's a lot of heart and good comeback ability, but I don't think Holloway falls apart like a lot of the, foes of Oliveira as he was champ, like Gaethje or Poirier do. I think Max Holloway is going to outstrike Charles Oliveira. I think he's going to box him up. I think he's going to knock him out with punches. I think it could be a first-round KO. I really think Charlie O could walk into a big shot early, just looking to slug and throw big shots and make this a brawl for the BMF title from the start. I know Diego Lima really wants Charlie O to be the better MMA fighter here. He spoke about it on the Countdown show. And I think they're looking to have Charlie O wrestle in this fight, but I don't know, man. I'm not overly confident in him just getting to the wrestling. I mean, even against Garbrandt, Charlie O got caught with some shots. It's just Gamrot's feather-fisted. And that same tell that he did against Topuria, I saw it against Garbrandt. It's just Garbrandt doesn't have the consequence on the other side, whereas Max Holloway absolutely does. Say what you want about Max Holloway being knocked out by Ilia Topuria. He had good moments in that second round. And even throughout the fight, he was fairly competitive in boxing with Ilia Topuria, who is the most terrifying puncher at, 45, 55, etc. The best boxer in the UFC, probably. Arguably Alex Pereira, but between those two. I think Max Holloway's knocking Charles Oliveira out here. I think he's going to be able to force a striking fight with Charlie O. The strike speed advantage will be telling. The footwork's going to be off the chain. Charlie O's going to be getting caught as he looks to load up on big shots and enter range. And I think Max Holloway is going to be too technical. And I think Charles Oliveira is getting knocked out. Now let's look at the scales and let's see. Okay, we got Charlie O with absolute aura, looking ready to go. Legend, for sure. Absolutely. His amazing moment in Brazil will go down in history over Garbrandt. But that was like, that was to me the send-off. This is the chance for greatness with the BMF title, but I don't see him winning it. And I love Charlie O, just like all of you. But I think Max gets it. I love Max too. Max looks sensational and confident on the scale, ready to go. And let's look at the face-off. So it was not shit talk between the two, but my God, face-off was intense. Here's the UFC's weird-ass angle that they're doing now. I'm also going to show you the MMA junkie angle. Way too close on Sean Shelby's face. That shit looks awkward. You see what I'm talking about? Like, what the hell is that? But it was cool just to see the nose-to-nose up close. And then on the other side of it, the more proper face-off. Nose-to-nose, high-intensity, BMF title on the line. They talked about, Max Holloway looking like Paddy Pimblett in that Paramount face-off with the way his neck was forward, and that's why people going, Charlie O, he won the battle of the face-off here. Look at the body language, man. Max Holloway in his face holding ground. Oliveira kind of getting shoved backwards a bit. I think this is Max Holloway's fight, and I think Max Holloway is going to go out and win in emphatic fashion and defend that BMF title for a second time here, and I think he's putting Charles Oliveira down and out, and I really think it could be early. Could go later for sure, and the volume of Holloway could add up, and he could stop Charles Oliveira in the second or third, but I also think there's a real chance that it's a first-round knockout for the Max Holloway side. Let's look at the odds. Minus 200 for the side of Max Holloway, plus 170 for the side of Charlie O. I'm feeling Max Holloway's hands are going to be the ultimate difference maker. I'm confident on the straight Max Holloway pick at minus 200, but I also feel really good about the fact that Max Holloway is incredibly live for a KO. Holloway to go out and win this fight by KO, plus 165 range at the plus money tag if it's something that you're feeling. Now, obviously, sub a lot less likely. Can you imagine a club and sub at plus 1400? The BMF chokes out the submission BMF just to prove a fucking point. That'd be insane. And let's see, KO or decision. Is that any good? Let's see, KO or decision. Holloway 1, 2, and 3 plus 225. Where's my KO or decision line, bro? How fucking far down do I got to scroll? KO or decision? Nope. Got KO kick. What the fuck are we doing here? Oliveira KO or decision. No, Holloway. What the fuck? Take that back. Knock on wood. Holloway KO decision minus 170. I think Holloway is going to get this fight out of here. I feel like in the first three, I think this fight's going under 3.5 at minus 125. And I think Holloway's getting the knockout win. I just don't believe in the Charles Oliveira striking arsenal from a defensive standpoint. Yes, he has explosive power, but he's way too reckless, puts himself in the fire way too often, and he was recently knocked out. Plus 325 Oliveira sub on the opposite side as well, for those that are wondering. I will add into this equation the way that Oliveira gets a lot of these subs outside of the Garbrandt fight really is clubbing subs, and I don't see him catching Holloway with some stupid shit in the pocket. I think we're going to see Holloway be sharp and technical in the striking department and able to pick apart Charles Oliveira and get the second win over him. But really, the first real win for him over Charles Oliveira. And I'm hearing rumblings that the winner of this fight is calling to Conor McGregor. Remains to be seen if McGregor's even going to actually come back, but I could imagine a world where Max Holloway just beats the shit out of Conor McGregor on International Fight Week. And I see the reason for wanting to do it because he also gets that loss back that he had a long time ago against Conor, you know, in his early UFC run, which is something I'd still be down for, but like, yo, Conor, he's getting washed by Max Holloway if they are to eventually face off. I do also think that Max Holloway is on the cusp of gold, even at 155. I feel like, you know, the Holloway fight versus McGregor could be like a good in-between matchup. And then Sarukian hopefully fights Topuria before the year closes. I know we got Gaethje, so Gaethje, Topuria over the summer, hopefully. And then Sarukian in the fall. If Max Holloway gets a win here and then gets another win and Ilia Topuria's champ, I think Topuria versus Holloway 2 at 155 is an incredibly compelling fight. Obviously, Topuria is going to probably try and jump up in weight and fight against the side of Islam, so we may see like Max Holloway versus Sarukian or something like that for a vacant title at some point early 2027. But I do think high probability of Max Holloway getting an undisputed title fight at 155 pounds. I do. I got a good feeling about it. And I think, obviously, it starts here with him stopping Charles Oliveira. Even with a loss, Charlie O is still always going to be a savage around, and I'm sure he fights again. There's sick fights for Charles Oliveira, really, regardless of the outcome. I mean, him and Patty, him and Benoit Saint-Denis, even him potentially moving up to 170 and trying to set up a wild-ass fight is not, like, out of the realm of possibility for him. But, yeah, obviously he wants the BMF belt, but I think Max Holloway's style is simply too much for Charles Oliveira, and I'm going precise boxing over the power style of Charles Oliveira, but defensively inept, chin suspect, and definitely Holloway improved power at 155, and he's going to show everybody that his underrated ground game deserves to be respected, all right? So Max Holloway by knockout over Charles Oliveira to close out the UFC 326 predictions, all right? But I'm not done yet. I want to talk a little parlay lineup. So Holloway and Rosas Jr., lock city. Fernandez, Montes, alternate lock. Some D-gen calls, all right? You got Rosas Jr. decision, Montes by submission, Holloway by KO for the cycle at plus, 1663. That's some wild shit. But I also want to do a couple live with you guys after the weigh-in. And some things that after I saw everybody on the scale, I'm like, all right, I got a read of something here. So, all right, we're going to run through. And we're not going to go too crazy with the early one here, but I have a feeling, right? Like Montes should absolutely win. I will be shocked if Montes loses this fight against Ricky Turcios. I think that would be kind of a sell of sells. Alternate parlay could be him with Borralho. Now, Borralho, minus 230, minus 225 range. You're getting plus 120 if that's to come through. Now, from there, we look to build it like a savage. What do we want to add in? Do you feel what I'm feeling about Max Holloway? Because if you do, plus 224. And if you're like, I think the favorites are going to clear up the card, right? Main, co-main, featured fight, plus 345. But there's going to be some underdog that hits. Cody No Love to go out and get it done. And then if you're feeling wild, Drew Dober, plus 1990 for a wild-ass parlay here if you're thinking you want to throw some underdog action in the slate with some more confident picks. And then at that rate, you're like, fuck it. Give me Luke Fernandez. I don't give a shit. Like, let's go for it. Plus 2,940 live for sure. Now, if you want to go prop-sided and you want to kind of go maybe method of victory calls on your lineup and, run up something here that maybe could be pretty good. Montes by submission is live at plus 290, around that range, but it might be as low as plus 200. And then you could consider doing the one that I have, but I'm going to add to it, which is why I'm bringing it back up. You throw Rosas on the scorecards, kind of a decently competitive fight, but he wins plus 727. And then Oliveira, Holloway, you think Holloway's chinning him, right? Plus 2,132. But from there, we can go a little nuts, though. If you want to believe in the underdog Garbrandt, you got plus 5,000 now, and it's just a straight line. And if you're like, I kind of want to believe in Dober by KO because I'm a DGen, plus 14,000. And if you want to go Tumendemberel straight, you got plus 25,000. But if you believe in Tumendemberel to get the submission, you go double sub props on your lineup, plus 70,470. All right? Complete DGen shit, just having a good time. I was feeling good about Rodrigues over 1.5 to win. But I will tell you, I'm a little bit more nervous of that call than I was earlier on in the week. I do think Nurgozhay and Tobias, very live to end early. You could hit shit early in the card. You can go under 1.5, bam. You go Luke Fernandez, bam, right? Plus 178, you're live for it, right? And you're like, yo, let me just run it up and do it like a savage. All right, I'm going just Montes, bam, on the money, plus 324, call my night early. Maybe that's what you want. Maybe that's what you want. Do you believe in the underdog lines? Do you believe in my dog attacks? You got Jesus Aguilar pulling shit out in a parlay, riskier. Of course, but we're having a good time. Jesus Aguilar to win, Cody No Love to win, Drew Dober to win, plus 1310 for 3 underdogs to handle. Ballsy for sure. Absolutely ballsy. But not out of this realm of possibility. You want to go the dog prop cycle, which, it's crazy. This is high risk. We're just having a good time. Remember that. Aguilar, win by sub. Okay? And then we're throwing in the side of Garbrandt by a decision. He's going to get it in a competitive fashion probably. Okay? Bam. Plus 2,000. Then you're like, yo, Dober by KO. Because I got all 3 of the dogs with like different method calls. So you can run it at plus 5,984. You wild menace to society. At the end of the day, be cautious. Be cautious. Okay? Be cautious. Do your research. Line it up with mine. See where we meet in the middle. That's where the magic happens. Don't blindly tail. If you're throwing a couple bucks down, different combo, but if you're really going with serious heat, you back yourself up with your own due diligence and your own feels after the weigh-ins, man. So there is kind of your lineup of how things are looking. Obviously, I like that Rodrigues over 1.5 to win. The problem is, Ferreira scaring the shit out of me, but we'll still leave it be and look to make magic. I like a lot of the lineups, though. So at the end of the day, I'm feeling good about 326. I hope you guys are too. I'll be live for the entire card, so make sure you tune in at 5 o'clock tomorrow, Saturday. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Smash the like button, subscribe, turn the post notifications on. Daily content coming like an absolute madman from me. You guys know. W in the comments if you got nothing to say, but I do want to hear your favorite picks. Drop if there's any pick flips from you, anybody you didn't like on the scale. Let me know your locks. Let me know your dogs, your whatever you like. If you're on the betting side or not, doesn't matter who you think win. I want to hear from you. So let me know in the comments your thoughts on the card. And yeah, be sure to hype the video as well. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you all for UFC 326. Much love. Good night and peace out.